My name is Robson. I am a Nigerian race car driver and also the team principal for Fastlane Motorsports. We have a racing team racing in sanctioned racing events across Nigeria, like the RoadX Racing Series, the Ondo Auto Rally. But this weekend was about the RoadX Racing Series, race 3 and 4 of the RoadX Racing Series in Edo State. The air here is always so beautiful. Like, I always like arriving, especially if you're coming from Lagos. All that mad hustle and bustle. Here, you hear pure sounds of exhaust, pure exhaust and fresh air. I don't know how to explain it, man. You can see the air is so fresh. In November, you have a lot of people camping here. They clear all that place. They camp there. You know, there's like a stage for an after party. There's a pool there. There's a volleyball court there. You have people who just have fun. I've been racing in controlled environments for a little over 2 years now. We started in 2017, November 2017. We had the Bikers Trophy and RoadX Showcase race at the racetrack in Edo State, Motorsport Raceway. We had the showcase race that season because the track was completed shortly before November. But in 2018, we had a full championship of 6 races, 6 points scoring races, and in 2019 now, we're having another championship, 6 point scoring races called the RoadX Racing Series. So I've been racing for shortly over 2 years. Yo, Chief. Yeah, boss. Good morning, man. How's it? Man that is coming to Robson, champion of the world. I'm here to terrorize everybody. Yesterday I was feeling somehow, but today, pepper. These slick tires. Ashiri. They have gone to upgrade. Just look at that. That's what you call a racing tire. They're called semi-slick tires. These grip the track like crazy. So your progress. Oh my god! And it's both rain and dry. Yeah, wet and dry tires. So you can see the threads are different. They sparse water more contact patch, more grip. Damn. When we started the racing series, we looked around at, okay, what are the best cars, what are the best affordable cars we can use for this racing series, and we can modify it to our rules. We settled on using the BMW E30s and the Benz 190s. Those 2 cars have had rivalry in their heritage. When those 2 cars were made, they've had serious rivalry in Europe, in other parts of the world. They use those cars for racing in over 20 countries currently. They have their own championships, so we decided to go into use those cars as well. And we use the BMW E30. So basically you get your BMW E30, any regular one, and then you modify it to racing specifications. So you install all the safety features, install a roll cage, fire suppressant system, then the rules are you must only use 4-cylinder engines that came naturally with the E30s. The fastest one of them will be the M42 engine. So you're not allowed to use forced induction, meaning no turbocharging, no nitrous, all of that thing people think when you hear racing. Naturally aspirated engine, whatever you can do to it, fine, but it must be naturally aspirated. You can tweak things in the car. There are rules, things you shouldn't change. You shouldn't use a sequential gearbox, you should use the stock gearbox. You can change the gear shifting system, but the gearbox itself is still, normal manual. And so I did a lot of things to my car. Some of them are secrets. I don't want the other people to know them. My car is very competitive. I believe it's one of the fastest, if not the fastest car on the grid. But I just believe I don't have the financial liability. I don't have this financial leeway to drive the car to its maximum potential. So, I try to avoid, going off the ramp. I try to avoid anything that will make me have to repair the car after a race. And that's why, I believe that's why I'm still, if I could push the limits, then I know that my car is going to be the fastest in the grid. The racetrack, currently the only one in West Africa. There's one in Senegal, but it's quite small. And the only one in West Africa, it's in Edo State, Motorsport Raceway. It was built by somebody who has serious passion for motorsports. He has been organizing racing events since 2013. Well, before I started racing, I used to, drive fast on the highway within speed limits. I don't know whatever you make of that. But I used to drive really fast on the highways, and I don't know if I was never really scared because I always made sure my car was in best conditions. I used to always think out with my cars. Whatever car I had, even my parents' car, upgrade the brakes, fit bigger rotors, better brake cooling, all of that. So I've never been scared of driving relatively dangerously. So when I had the opportunity to go into racing, I went into it without fear, without experience, and I was basically a dead devil in my mind. Before this particular racing weekend, I was at the top of the racing table, but we had two races this weekend, race 3 and 4. In race 3, I made some upgrades on my car between the race 2 and 3, and they turned out to be negative, turned out to impact the car negatively. So I had to undo that, and then in race 4, it was raining. I was really in the zone. I still drive my car, my team cars for now, because so basically I was in the zone, and the race was going on, and we're overtaking each other. I and Jack of Throttle Racing has been my #1 contender since the last race of last year, because he's a very good driver. He loves racing, and he doesn't spare anything to upgrade his car. When all possible upgrades are always done on his car. His car is really good. So, but now I'm second on the table because in the fourth race, I ran out of fuel while leading the race. I have never felt, I don't know what word to use to describe what I felt that day, but I felt like I just threw everything in the world. I don't know, the anger I felt that day, I don't think I've ever felt it in my life. So we have, when you are approaching turn 10, which is the final turn at the track, you're coming straight out of the hairpin, go into turn 9, and then turn 10 is a serious, slow right-hander. Now that means that when you take the turn 10 really fast, the car bends leftwards. So, and the fuel pump, stock fuel pump by the way, is on the right side. So all the fuel slushes to the right. So as you turn, if you don't have enough fuel and the fuel slushes to the right in the fuel tank, it will leave the fuel pump to start the fuel pump, and when you want to accelerate on the front straight, you get some stutter. You get some stuttering because you're starving. You're having what we call fuel starvation.
Ready, petrol.
So my fuel level indicator gave a false reading before the race, and I only just added 5 liters of fuel before the race. It was entirely my fault. I had that call to make. I can't blame my team members. But perhaps if I didn't have to drive and oversee so many things at the same time, I'll be able to focus purely on getting the best out of the cars. So I came out on the front straight while leading the race, and I felt that stutter the first time, and I was like, my God, what am I supposed to do? I'm leading the race. We have about 10 more laps to go. Do I go in the pits and get more fuel? Jack and I were way ahead of RoadX Motorsport, who was third. So I just didn't know. I was very devastated. I was very angry in the car when I knew that was what was going on. So I hoped that I could manage. I hope by some miracle, I don't know, I was just confused. And I hope that somehow maybe they will stop the race because the weather conditions got way worse. So, first time, so I managed, the car went round the first time. This time I took the turn a little bit slower, went on the next lap, and I was coming out of turn 4. It's a hard left-hander. The car began to stutter again. So that means that we're having some fuel starvation issues. And then, Jack passed me. I managed to go back in the pit lane. And I got more fuel, came back out. By that time the conditions were horrible. At some point I even stopped on track, and the guys that were third and fourth passed me because I had to stop, and the car had a technical issue again. So I had to stop, come out of the car, fix it, and then I came out fourth. My plan was to win that race, and if I had won that race 4, Jack and I would have been at a tie at the top of the table. And because we used the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 point scoring system, that means that Jack had won 2 races back to back, and he would now have 2 points more than me. But I didn't even come second. I came 4th, which was still a miracle, by the way.
Rob, you did well. Rob. You did well, bro. Rob did well. He's a champ. Nice one.
Fastlane all the way.
Well. Oh, so sorry.
Thunder, no strike, well.
He happens to the best of us.
There's always another day.
Today's the day, man. Rob is one of the best on the grid. He is my nightmare on the grid, but unfortunately, you know, things happen on the grid all the time. I was very lucky to actually race. I wouldn't have raced because my alternator had a problem. We sent it out, it came late, and they said it wasn't working, so I was lucky, basically. And the rain also was a big factor. So yeah, we did well.
So I hope that, you know, with time people will see the fun in motorsport. People might come together, you know, develop this track together. Everybody in the South, I mean, it's something to be proud about. Let's do something. Somewhere in the North, somebody can do one of their own racetrack, and then we can begin to have national championships. People are inquiring already. I had an inquiry from South Africa, inquiry from Kenya, the bikers in Kenya. They want to come and race at the Motorsport Raceway in 2020, and they are inviting us to come over to theirs in 2021. We can begin to have our own motorsport industry. So, you know, whenever anybody comes, there's already something on ground, and then, you know, they can partner with us to develop it. So I hope, you know, more corporate bodies will come on board, because, you know, getting the support of the big brands, corporate brands, small and big brands, it's some morale. It gives you some motivation, and, you know, you always want to do what you want to do. But, you know, we're here for passion first of all, but passion doesn't keep things going all the time.
Sanctioned champion. Representing Fastlane, RoadX Championship.